So, oh, hey, Diane. So, do.
Hey there. Is this a
Uh,
governance meeting and not a strategy meeting?
that's correct. We we had CNCF update the notes to move them all to a CNCF shared drive, and they didn't do it correctly.
Okay.
So,
Hey,
um,
anyways,
yep.
cool.
So if you have any governance business, you are in the right place. For that matter, since we don't really have much of an agenda, if you
I
have any tag CS business at all, you are in the right place. So the
so
She's
your
yeah.
ears must have been burning this morning, Josh, because I was speaking with Anita and Steve from the Apache Bean Initiative on DNI this morning, and they were talking about you and praising you to high heaven. So good on that. And
oh,
I
okay.
hoping I
Cool.
could set up a meeting face to face with you next week in person with Steve from OSU to talk about the Kubernetes DNI work they wanted to do. You had given them the people JSON file, which has only like 250 actual self-reporting people in it. It's pretty small subset of the whole thing, but we're going to give them a hand building that dashboard for Kubernetes with some of the data here. So I wanted to just give you a heads up. And I actually can't stay. I just wanted to say that and say hi. And everybody have a wonderful time at KubeCon next week. If you're going, I'm going to be there virtually, but and I just can't make myself go to Chicago. So.
Oh, I like Chicago. Although November would not be my first choice of when to visit Chicago.
It's cold there.
Better than February, though.
You'll need a Bitergia scarf.
Right. I don't have a Bitergia scarf.
We will make that happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have boots there?
It was.
You can bring them. You can bring them to us.
I'm not coming, but I'm not coming, so I don't have them, and they're perfect colors for Halloween, which is why I dug mine out. But yeah,
well, I might have to wait for Open Source Summit Seattle.
Oh yeah, that's in the spring, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in the spring, and we're holding the first in-person Container Plumbing Days the day before it, so I'll actually be there.
Oh, good. Well, then if it's just in Seattle, I will come, and I just uninvited myself to FOSDEM because it's cold there too. And I'm supposed to be retired, but not really.
Yeah.
So the questions they're going to have is that file, that JSON file we have is self-reporting. It's people actually, it's not, and there's, I think I counted, there were like 250, a little over 250 people in there, which is really not enough to do it flavor. But my question is, would you and I maybe perhaps do a blog on the CNCF post blog suggesting, making people aware of that file a little bit more so that they could update that stuff and or do some outreachy stuff to make a little more awareness of that, because it's like people's gender fluidity might have changed since they first entered it, because some of the stuff is pretty old in there. And I don't know if you wanted, but that's what I suggested to Steve, is that maybe there's a possibility there. But I don't know, governance and DNI and all the
yeah.
It's sticky wicket.
Yeah. I mean, part of it is, obviously it has to be self-reported, right? Because we don't have any other source of data. And and one thing, well, let's actually talk to OSU, because I think that actually is going to come down to, if we're going to try to get more interest in it, to both explain the purpose and the nature of the study, as well as what data security steps they're taking. Because I can completely understand today why, if I were a trans person, for example, I wouldn't want that information to show up in additional databases.
Yep, that's exactly. So I will send you Steve's, he's coming to KubeCon. If you could sit down with him and explain CNCF's positions and your positions and your thoughts on it, that would be wonderful to kickstart that conversation, because I have not done any on purpose DNI data
Mhm.
into Bitergia at all, ever. So, and they're using namestore.app.
Yeah.
Did I say DNI? I said DEI, or
Mhm.
diversity and inclusion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
DEI, is that the?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking too fast. So, yeah, so I think that's basically the best practices talk is what you could give him.
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, and this has come up before, right? Because we've had other people, what's your name, from the Istio project wanted to do a big DEI survey.
Yeah.
And the response that we got back from the Code of Conduct Committee and stuff, is there needs to be clear goals in this and how it benefits
Yeah.
diverse contributors to fill out the survey,
Yeah.
and what they're going to get out of it.
So I have to
So,
run and pick
Yep.
somebody up at the ferry, but I just wanted to make sure I
Okay.
connect with you on that, and that, trust me, I'm on the same page as you. So
Yeah.
for lots of good
Yep.
reasons. And if you could meet with him and just talk to him face to face,
Yep.
that would be helpful. All right.
Cool.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
Now I've
Yeah.
interrupted, run and gone.
Okay. Thanks. See you later on. Howdy, Dave. Welcome back.
Hello. How are you?
All right.
I'm
This
trying to
is
find the
ostensibly
current governor note or governance notes. Okay. Here.
Yeah, this is ostensibly a governance meeting, but really it's just kind of a short check-in before KubeCon,
Yeah, that
Um,
that makes sense.
because everybody's working on prep, and none of us have touched any governance reviews in the
Yeah.
last 3 weeks because KubeCon.
Yes,
The,
I'm packing tomorrow, and I just
Yeah.
happened to have actually wrapped most things today, and I was like,
Mhm.
I could go to the meeting.
Yep.
So,
So, okay. So, I guess before project board review, the one of the questions I would actually have for Dave is, have you even thought about maintainer circle at all in the last 2 months? Because I will tell you, in your absence, nobody else picked it up.
I've thought about the guilt I feel about not thinking about it.
Okay.
Or not putting work
Yeah.
in on it. Let me put it that way. Like
Yeah.
I'm still things are basically frozen where they were at the end of August, where I was trying to book that one online one, and the guys never
Mhm.
got back to me, and then I didn't follow up, and so no. But like I said, like I said when you reached out to me a couple weeks ago, I am optimistic that coming at post KubeCon now, I will things will be a little slower on my end, and a little more reasonable, and I can pick this back up.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Well, you do what you can. Okay, yeah. With the schedule for visiting project kiosks, I have not put my name down there yet, because I need to figure out my personal sort of master schedule for KubeCon, which is going to take me probably about 3 hours this afternoon. But Rian, I could team up with you, or you could team up with Ali.
I have to announce that against good advice, I have changed my hat and is now with the LF. And I'm a project manager for CNCF, sorting out tags.
Oh, well, congratulations. That
So
does not prevent you from being on tags, on Tag CS, though. Although it might prevent you from being a tech lead. I would need to check on the rules for that.
yes, we might want to figure out a strategy there.
Okay.
So my main aim for KubeCon would be run around and meet the actual tags, see who's doing what at which tag. Because of a lot of the work that we've been doing in tags, yes, they want to replicate into the other tags, just repo organization, project boards, things like that.
Yeah.
So basically just the comment is tag CS is working, can we just make the rest do that as well? So compliments to
Yep.
tag CS. So yeah, that's most of what I'm going to do at KubeCon. So if there is time, I'd like to go around doing tag CS, but otherwise, mostly I'm probably just going to meet all the other tags, which I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Well, but the nice thing is, a canvas of the project kiosk still fits into your new role, as well as tag CS. The
Exactly.
so um so when I actually look at my schedule, I can ping you online. Because we've been trying, Dave, since you missed a few of these, our idea was to do the canvas in pairs because it's more fun that way. The and and so we'll just try. It looks like, well, I don't know, we got potentially 2 afternoon and 2 mornings, so one way or the other. So I'll try to see if I can take one of those slots that people have already
Okay. Yeah, I just
nailed
put
down.
myself in for 11 to noon because like noon to 1 is when people are in there and having lunch, and so I'm going to need to be at our booth. But I can do the slow time earlier when talks are happening, like between 11 and noon.
Yeah.
On Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah. Well,
So
I finally managed to get my scheduled booth duties offloaded onto event staff.
good for you.
So I have the ability to do more of these things. I just need to schedule them all.
Yeah.
The
Cool.
So it only took 3 years.
Cool. I'm in the middle of 1.5 or so. So I'll keep think that I've only got a year and a half left until I can swing that.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So we'll figure that out. We'll coordinate and figure out those time slots so that we can have people pairing up. And that works out because I don't think we need, like, if we have 4 canvases on the schedule, I think that's plenty.
Sure.
Right. I think we'll get to talk to everybody. If we have 2 mornings and 2 afternoons, I think we'll get to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
So the other thing that we need to do is create sort of a set of talking points. Which is a tall order because we should really do it before we all get on airplanes so that somebody can print them out.
Sure.
Although actually just condensing them down to a doc that we can see on our phones is probably even better.
Yeah.
So
I honestly, my first idea there would just be like, this exists, and these resources exist because in the last 3 weeks, I've had like the 2 engineering teams internally here go, hey, I guess like the last month and a half, go like, hey, we're a little concerned about the number of contributors we're getting on Envoy Gateway. Like, do you know anything to help with that? And I was like, yeah, and I said, I sent the contributor growth guide, and he was like, whoa. And I was like, dude, if you tell Paris Pittman in the CNCF Slack that you read her guide, like, it's going to be like a great, and then, I don't know, like 3 weeks later, they asked for something else. And I was like, oh yeah, no, there's a thing for that too. And so people just, I think it's just awareness,
it's hard to find information, and it's hard to be aware the information exists. And of course, we have the continual problem that there is no good way to reach all the maintainers.
Yeah, totally.
And there never has been, and we can't really necessarily come up with a way to create one. Because you're talking about trying to reach the people who are the busiest. So
yeah, totally.
So so most important thing is this exists. List of resources.
Calling out both the Tag CS channel and the Maintainer Circle channel in Slack.
Yeah.
As you can go ask peers questions and answer them.
Yeah. I also need to remind people that Tag CS mailing list, for busy maintainers, all we do there is event announcements. We don't do discussion on it. So if they just want to know when the meetings are so that
Yeah.
they can bring their contributor problem to a contributor growth meeting, they can subscribe to the mailing list. So because like one of the problems with the CNCF community calendar is that if you subscribe to it, you kind of have to subscribe to the whole thing, which
Yeah.
then clutters up your calendar. Um, the and believe me, we've looked at ways to work around that, and there just really aren't. Um, the so um, what one of the other things I was saying with the projects is that we can help give them feedback around the requirements for moving levels, and then also I need to bring the moving levels are changing, and I need a link for that. So I'm asking the task force whether or not we have a document to share. So um, the what other things?
Mentoring too, that we have mentoring,
Mm,
that's one of the ways of growing your contributor base, etc.
mhm. Yeah, and the diversity group or accessibility group, I think it is actually.
I'm actually
You
really
know,
glad I showed up because the second question that got asked of me was like, "Hey, we want to reboot the Envoy Gateway Steering Committee. Do you know of any resources on like how to properly like run a project between people?" And I was like, "Yeah, there's a subcommittee for that. There's a whole
yeah, yeah,
guide."
yeah. The yep.
So I just sent
Um,
that link.
okay, well, great. The so any of us who are doing Canvas before a maintainer session should probably also plug the maintainer session
Yes.
for anybody who's interested in project accessibility, etc. The so okay. Um,
Another thing would be that we are also trying to recruit people. How can we like? But I'm not sure what would be the talking point for that. You can participate. Yeah.
the
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, that would be helpful if we can get more hands on deck into the
Mhm.
tag.
Mhm.
Um. Yeah, I think the part of the rationale for that is just like, hey, and if you use these things and find benefit from them, then you could be part of the group that creates them and helps other
Mhm.
projects, and you can pass on your
Yeah.
learnings.
Yeah.
And
Plus,
and
we
I
want
go ahead.
right somewhere out there are more governance and/or contributor recruitment geeks, and we just
Yeah.
need to find them.
Well, and I always have loved the way you put this, Josh, of like it's DevOps for projects,
Mhm.
right? Like I think saying that that to me that ought to be the slogan of Tag CS, right? It's like don't do this job twice.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Okay. The
it's it's project infrastructure as code.
mhm. Yep. Okay. So we'll want to craft, a very short document for that. So let's actually, what's going to be the easiest thing to look on a phone?
Probably Google Docs. There's an app.
Yeah.
And as long as we keep it small, the bullet points small. Like, I
Mhm.
remember when we gave the talk in Amsterdam, it was a little, but we had a lot of detail in there. If we just hit big points, then it should load and be nicely viewable.
I'm trying to remember what the trick is. Oh, there we go. No. Gods. I have to say I hate G Drive though. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to go to the folder this document is in. There's literally no way to do that.
There
Yeah.
is, I always forget how to do it and I have to click. Hold on, let me go find one. The trick is
Wait,
if it's
actually,
not in
probably,
someone's
yeah,
folder.
document details. You have to go to no. Document details will tell you the folder, but you can't go to it.
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, so
It
weirdly,
may
I'm
only be
going
on
to,
certain ones too. Yeah.
I'm literally going to look at the ticket I filed about Google Drive folder locations.
Yeah.
And I wanted to check. Rian, was it clear what's going on with that?
Yes, I saw that. I briefly scanned it because I'm running like a headless chicken at the moment. But yes, that it makes sense. They all need to be in the same place, and preferably not owned by a person, rather by the
Yeah.
organization. So I think it's a good ticket. So I assigned it to myself and put it on the project board under assigned. So I will mark it for after KubeCon.
Okay, hold on. I want to do.
But my concern there is you're absolutely right. We're probably going to have links that break.
Yeah, I mean, to the
Then
extent that we can move documents rather than copying them, then the links won't break. But we literally have to do that one document at a time. There's no way to say, well, unless you want to make a folder, a subfolder of another one. But like if we want to merge two folders without making them subfolders, then you can't do it all at once.
no, it shouldn't be too many docs. I haven't looked into it, so I'm making uninformed comments. But yes, have you done it before? Move it from one drive to another and see that the links survive.
It's a good thing I haven't actually tested.
I haven't done it, so I'll play around with
Mhm.
it. See if I can make the link survive.
Mhm.
Strange things could happen with Google Docs. So let's see. Maybe it's working. If it doesn't, we'll just need to figure out where the hyperlinks go.
Okay, so do. I'm just going to create a new blank document. Okay, and then we just need to put stuff into there. Do. Let's look that up. Okay. Okay. Do we have anything else before we look at the project board?
For me, nothing for me.
Mhm.
No, nothing for me.
Did I correctly did I share the good screen?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay. I don't even know if there is something new. I think everything's a bit slow, so probably there is nothing new, but yeah.
Yeah, this is probably the same board we would have looked at 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
I think everybody is a little overburdened this time of year.
yeah. I mean, some things like tag CS election support process,
Yeah.
that's a thing. I guess we could move that to backlog because that's what it is. It's not new anymore.
Mhm.
It is
Mhm.
something we want to have, but the oops, stuff moved wrong.
Ah,
Yeah. You seem to be having your mouse seems to be behaving badly.
yeah. Yeah. When I share screen, this happens sometimes. Did I move something else?
Yeah, you moved suggested improvements to the incubating graduate levels, which should be in blocked because that's
Block.
being handled by the task force. I don't know if that should, well, it's on our list of issues because the task force is under tag CS and it's certainly going to affect governance, but we're not actually suggesting changes. What's going to happen is the task force, the TOC is going to adopt some form of the task force recommendations, at which point we're going to update our own documentation to fit that. The so
So, but this is probably just stopped because of KubeCon as well, so it will wait a little bit more. Should I keep it in the block or should I move it to backlog? Or what
which would
was
no
it?
keep that in blocked
Okay.
because it's being dealt with by somebody else.
Okay.
Okay. Telepresence just updated their governance. So we want to restart that.
Okay, so Dawn asked them to update their, like, if, or not asked, but offered, suggested that if the community wants to update their governance, to use the current template. And they did it. Now we need to review. Okay. Any volunteers?
Well, I can't.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
Well, I was going to see first whether or not Dawn wants to pick it back up
Okay.
because she did the initial
Mhm.
response. So I was going to see whether or not, yeah, whether or not Dawn wants to continue with it. And then if she doesn't, we'll look at reassigning it.
Okay.
But like I'm overdue to redo the cloud events one. Although realistically, I know that I need to actually submit a PR against their main governance document because it's still extremely hard to decipher. And I don't think the project is actually capable of making it clearer. So I need to just, it's going to be easier if I just go and do that. The
Okay. So Yeah, sorry, I was opening something stupid, something else. I wrote a comment to Dawn. When she replies, she can continue or we can continue. I move this to backlog again.
Okay. Yeah, we had for our help wanted ones, we had various, various random potential contributors jump in and offer to try to work on them. And then that didn't particularly go anywhere. It was, in most cases, they weren't necessarily people that I would expect to have an easy time writing those things. Somebody who's got an account called Still a Beginner writing a document on how to run a release process. I mean, maybe they have a bunch of experience running a release process for proprietary software, but with that alias, it doesn't seem likely. So we still have those sort of help wanted things. And a lot of that becomes, hey, that might actually be something to talk to projects about. Like, look at some of these and say, hey, do you have your release process documented? Do you feel like it's a good document? Because it's going to be much easier to copy based on a couple of projects that have things nailed down than to generate something from scratch.
Hey,
Doing it from scratch is going to be hard, and maybe Kubernetes, because they've got a very high release cadence.
Yeah.
Maybe they're a good candidate for that.
Yeah, I mean, the problem that I find with Kubernetes is it's so huge and there are so many parts. As in with Kubernetes, what you'd be doing is you'd be trying to cherry pick the details that would still apply to a smaller project and condense them down. So I do think we should talk to projects and see if they have things that they've done for community infra that they feel are good. That could maybe serve as models to other projects.
that would also, yeah.
That would also be kind of a fun maintainer circle if we could get people to turn out for it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a place that people want information. I mean, like we got the most people we got this year were to Paris's.
So, okay. So let's see. Oops.
I actually would like to ask you about this one, Josh. Knative governance review. And so there were two missing pieces. There were two missing pieces for this. The motion that is defined now. Trade and mark committee. it is voted to be dissolved. And now we are actually waiting input from you, I believe, about how to actually say, okay, we dissolve this committee. And then why I'm telling all of these, then we can do the governance review, or Dawn can actually do the governance review. Or
Okay, I
someone.
thought I already went over this with Nina. So no PRs have been submitted yet to update the governance documents.
Okay,
Because
but
I even gave Nina a list of which documents needed to be updated.
okay, I will ask her then.
So yeah. Yeah, and then when it comes time for the actual governance review, the problem is we need somebody who's not either of us to do it,
Mhm.
right? Because you're on the steering committee and I actually drafted Knative's original governance docs. So I feel like neither of us is in a good position to be objective about this.
Yeah.
So the yeah,
Okay, yeah.
okay,
So I'll follow up with Nina, and then I will ask
Yeah.
Dawn to do the governance review.
yeah. I mean, what I would actually do, what I suggested to Nate in that case is replace the trademark committee document with a tombstone, because there may be links to it elsewhere that we don't know about, and just say, you know, the trademark committee was dissolved as of this date, and that's all that's in the document. You know, for governance, please see the steering committee. And then update the general governance doc that covers the steering committee, which has several references to the trademark committee, and remove all of those. So
Okay, I'll check with her.
Yeah.
About all these comments and all these things. And I think now I can do it.
yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So okay. Yeah, and then we can do it. I mean, I think even with Dawn or somebody doing it, it's going to be, honestly, the main thing about it that I would like to get feedback from a third party who can do the review is, how clear is this documentation, right? Because like I have no question that it's open governance, you know, it has the pieces we want out of governance, etc. But the question of clarity always arises, right? Can a new contributor to the project look and figure out, for example, that they could run for steering committee?
Yeah.
And the other thing that, and I'll say, getting a little bit on a tangent for this, the other thing that Tag CS could maybe help Knative with a little bit is, for next year, is recruiting people to run for steering committee. There haven't been, there haven't been a lot of people running for this current election. And so, and I think Knative needs some internal messaging and help to get across the idea that you're not required to work for Red Hat or VMware in order to run for steering committee.
Yeah. I mean, overall, Knative, we have our community is not growing. I should say that. Like,
Yeah.
So that is something we need to work on. So it's not just avoiding any duties in steering committee or something. It's a general problem.
Yep. Okay. So, yeah. So, I mean, also contributor growth, right? On the other side. I was thinking about the governance angle of this, but they're interrelated. It's just, you know, Knative, like a few other projects, is coming from a situation where it was a project where you had to work for specific companies to have a leadership position. And that's not true anymore, but that doesn't mean that people have really mentally caught up with the idea that it's not true anymore.
Good points. I never
So,
thought about those.
well, no, because you go back Knative, 2 years ago before it was CNCF, it was in the governance that you had to basically work for Google or VMware or Red Hat in order to have be eligible for steering committee. So the and you know, and it takes a bit and possibly some direct prodding for people to say, oh, that actually means me. Okay. Other project board stuff?
Do you see anything that is interesting that you want to talk about, folks?
No, I'm good.
Do we want to send a tweet or blog post, social post or something just before KubeCon, the last one?
Yeah.
I don't know if we can do that. I still didn't learn like how that's done. But yeah.
Yeah, we've posted some things. Yeah, we should actually get something out about our maintainer session. Because we have a sort of limited amount of time, maintainer session and canvassing. So, tag CS at KubeCon. So we should draft something. So, wait, I've lost the notes. Okay. Yeah, so the two things we'd want to do is maintainer session and I know at least we want to do maintainer session and let people know that the project canvas is going to be happening. Is there anything else we want to get across for KubeCon? I think there were maybe some other sessions that were tag CS related, but I don't remember which ones they were.
Me neither. So the maintainer session is where Catherine and Jay and some other folks
Yeah.
do. That's one, right? Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
I
was
think-
thinking one post that basically mentions the maintainer session and mentions the canvassing.
Oh,
But
okay.
could be
Okay.
two separate posts. I mean, for the short form social media, I guess it makes sense for it to be two separate posts.
Okay. I can write something about the canvassing.
Okay.
And then I post it in my social, and then I give you I send you the links over Slack.
Yeah, I mean, we share it out, right? Because I usually do Mastodon. But somebody else usually does LinkedIn. And I don't know if we're even doing X anymore. So
Rian, maybe do you want to write something about, post something about maintainer session?
I do not do social. I've got a LinkedIn account, but I have no other social media. I don't have the social media skills.
Yeah.
I can do a post. I don't have the reach of some people, but I can put something out there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Maybe we should do a social media training campaign.
I am not the person you want leading that, but I could get our new PR person who is very wonderful and very good at it to do it.
I honestly write something and then give it to ChatGPT, which polishes it with nice emojis and stuff. So I lack those emoji skills.
Anything else?
No, I think that's plenty to do.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. See you
Okay.
in KubeCon.
All
Okay.
right. See you
See you there.
see you at KubeCon.
Yeah,
Cheers.
bye.
Bye.